Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. The Cabinet approved the redrafted cybercrime bill and sent it to the lower house for endorsement. The new amendments included the revision of the definition of hate speech and the criminalization of rumors and false news, which currently carries a penalty of no less than 3 months imprisonment, but not exceeding 2 years. The Cabinet also approved renewing an exemption of registration fees for apartment sizes not exceeding 150 square meters for the year 2019. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Ayman al-Safadi called on the international community to deal with the Syrian crisis according to new facts on the ground, with the aim to end the crisis and help restore security and stability in the country. Safadi's remarks at a press conference followed his meeting with the United Nations Syria envoy Staffan de Mistura, where the two reviewed the latest developments in Syria. Safadi stressed that a new page must be opened when dealing with Syria. All efforts, he added, must be exerted to secure Syria's unity and independence and protection of its people. He criticized the absence of an Arab role in efforts to resolve the crisis as unacceptable and called for a positive Arab role to help reach a political solution in Syria that would end the repercussions of the catastrophic war that is still being endured by Syria, the region, and the world. Foreign Minister Safadi also met with senior UN officials who are attending a meeting of heads of UN political and peacekeeping missions in the region, which is being held in Amman. Discussions covered cooperation in efforts to resolve regional crises and address their humanitarian and security repercussions. Safadi said Jordan is interested in cementing its partnership with the UN and enhancing cooperation to meet the needs of refugees. On the sidelines of the meeting, Safadi met with UN Under-Secretary General for Political Affairs Rosemary DiCarlo. The two discussed ways and means of enhancing the partnership between Jordan and the world body. In a separate meeting with UN Under-Secretary General for Peacekeeping Operations, Jean-Pierre Lacroix, Safadi expressed Jordan's pride in taking part in UN peacekeeping missions. Safadi also discussed with the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Iraq, Jan Kubish, the latest developments in Iraq and the UN mission's efforts to help restore its security and stability. The Senate's Finance and Economic Committee continued their debate of the 2019 draft state budget as well as independent government units' budgets. Senator Umayya Tuqan praised the government's efforts over the bill, which he said seeks to achieve self-reliance. The committee members, meanwhile, stressed the importance of drafting the budget according to national priorities and achieving a balance between financial stability and the need for state revenue. They also highlighted the government's plan next year to address distortions in the sales tax. The panel also called for expanding the social safety net to include a larger number of eligible families and reach the poorest people by increasing the number of beneficiaries in the National Aid Fund. Minister of Planning and International Cooperation Mary Qawar signed an EU grant to develop Al-Karama border crossings infrastructure worth €6.5 million with the head of the International Organization for Migration, Enrico Ponziani. Qawar said the grant aims to develop security procedures and the movement of passengers and goods at the Jordanian-Iraqi border crossing. Anti-narcotics department personnel seized over 400,000 narcotic pills in a drugs raid in the northern desert region. The Public Security Department spokesperson said officers from the Anti-Narcotics Department and the Jordan Armed Forces Arab Army followed a tip-off that a large stash of drugs was being stored. The raid led to the seizure of 400,000 Captagon pills and 46,000 tramadol pills. Search for the culprit continues. Israeli soldiers raided the offices of Palestinian news agency Wafa in Ramallah to get hold of footage. The Palestinian news agency said troops raided their server room and went through camera recordings before withdrawing after they took copies of the security camera footage. It was unclear whether the raid was connected with an army search in Ramallah after a gunman believed to be Palestinian opened fire on Israelis outside a nearby Jewish settlement yesterday. An Israeli military spokesperson declined to comment on the incident. Iraq marked a year since its defeat of the terrorist Daesh group. Iraqis observed a minute's silence for the tens of thousands killed in the battle against the terrorist group. The government has made the date a national holiday and dubbed it Victory Day. But some Iraqis felt little cause for celebration. Little meaningful reconstruction has taken place in cities decimated by battles against Daesh, as the country is also in the throes of a new political crisis, which has prevented it from forming a government to tackle widespread corruption and high unemployment. Her Majesty Queen Rania was awarded the Influential Personality of the Year award at the 3rd Annual Arab Social Media Influencers Summit in Dubai. In her keynote speech, Queen Rania called on social media influencers to use their time and popularity on the platform to break barriers and open communication channels to impact people and rally support for those who need it most. Her Majesty said that making a real difference in the world is dependent on acting in accordance with our values. She stressed that truth is losing ground to emotional rhetoric and sensational rumors, as she referred to an MIT research which stated that fake news on Twitter is 70% more likely to be retweeted than the truth. Held under the patronage of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, the summit brought together over 1,000 social media influencers and other stakeholders from across the region and the world. In sports, riot police were deployed in Buenos Aires in the early hours today after disturbances were reported during celebrations for River Plate's win over Boca Juniors in the Copa Libertadores final second leg. Revelers were seen throwing objects in the direction of police, triggering officers to respond with tear gas to disperse the crowd. Soccer fans celebrated River Plate's 3-1 win against Boca Juniors in Madrid after violence had seen the original game postponed. And Felipe Massa geared up for his switch to Formula E with a race against a peregrine falcon, the fastest bird on Earth. Peregrine falcons can reach speeds of over 350 kilometers per hour when they dive through the air, providing the Brazilian Formula E driver. While Aqaba's highs reach 24 degrees and drop down to 13 at night. That's all for tonight. I'm Dana Abu Sham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.